Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis, and welcome to another week of Living the Wiccan Life. This week I'm very pleased to bring you an interview with Witch at Large Macha NightMare, who speaks to us about her role in Cherry Hill Seminary. Cherry Hill has been very much in the news of late, and Macha shares with us her unique perspective of this important institution. I must apologize, however, for the sound quality of this interview, as it was filmed in the middle of a crowded room at the Pantheacon gathering in California this last weekend. But I'm sure that you will enjoy the interview. And let me begin by asking you to introduce yourself.
My name is Macha. Full name is Macha NightMare, and I live in California.
And we're here at Pantheacon.
Yes, we are.
And have you
after Valentine's Day?
And you've come to Pantheacon frequently, I believe.
A lot, most of them.
And are you enjoying your weekend?
I'm having a wonderful time. I'm with my people. It feels very nurturing.
You've been in our community for many years and done many things. And would you like to talk a little bit about some of the projects that you have these days going on that are important to you?
Well, the main thing that I've been putting my juice into for the last several years has been a seminary for pagans. I know that's kind of controversial in some ways, and it certainly is. I have mixed feelings about some of the things that come up in the context of planning a seminary, but I also think that as we move into the light, into the sunlight with the rest of the religions of the world, that we should be prepared and should have some of our people have a professional background, professional skills to meet the challenges that coming into the mainstream require. I don't think you're any more or less of a witch or a druid or whatever kind of pagan you are if you don't choose something like that. But I think that some of us among us are drawn to more public face, and also will be called upon to do things like pastoral counseling, other professional things that we, when we're trained as priestesses, we don't learn that sort of stuff. We learn certain roles that we perform in ritual, but we don't necessarily learn some of the other things that are customarily performed by religious leaders of various kinds. I'm mindful, very mindful, of not co-opting ourselves, not sacrificing the uniqueness of us. And I think that we can do it without sacrificing the uniqueness. We do always have to be mindful. I tend not to use the word clergy because I think it's so loaded with expectations that are not necessarily suitable for us. I don't want to whitewash us, and I don't want to lose the mystery. And Cherry Hill Seminary, as it is pan-pagan. We tend to come off as a bit witch-centric, but that's because there are more witches in the pagan world, and there are more witches in Cherry Hill. But we actually have our board of directors a druid, and we have a Celtic Reconstructionist, and we're about to have a few others. We're looking forward to it. We are seeking accreditation through the DETC, which is Distance Education Training Council, I think. DETC.org is what it is. It's been around since 1926, and it accredits various kinds of institutions of higher learning, not particularly seminaries, but them included. We do everything online, which means that we can get the best of the best in terms of teachers and get it's a wider opportunity for pagans around the country and beyond to take classes.
I understand that accreditation has been making progress, or that there have been some developments.
There have been some developments since March. Actually, we've done a lot of changes. We now have 5 programs, and at this moment I can't repeat them all.
Yeah, of course.
Different focuses. I don't have them on the tip of my tongue. And we also have a thing called PCEL, which is Pagan Continuing Education for Lifelong Learning, which is, it offers some of the same things, but not with the notion of people getting any kind of degree, and the reason being that as we're seeking accreditation, all our teachers have to have what is known as terminal degrees, the highest degree they can get in their field. So we have PhDs and MDivs teaching. They're all pagan. They're all different kinds of pagans. And they all they're getting paid, but they're not getting paid what they would get in the world of academia. They're not getting paid as much as they should, but they're really banging down our door to have the opportunity to teach, because this is the only place that they've been able to find where they can actually don't have to modify their field of study to fit into an academic mold somewhere of something that's already established. So we're pretty well received. We've had students and teachers present at various academic conferences. Last weekend I was at a Pagan Studies conference at Claremont Graduate University, sponsored by their School of Religion. That's in its 5th year now, and there were 2 days worth of papers, uneven as most of those things are, but quite impressive. And more and more and one of our students was a presenter, really was a very good presentation. And we are able to grant MDivs because we were incorporated in both the state of Vermont and the state of South Carolina. Our physical records are in South Carolina. And as it happens, South Carolina is less involved with accreditation that has anything to do with religion. So we're kind of exempted from some of their requirements. Our ultimate goal, however, excuse me, in addition to being accredited by the DETC, is to meet the standards of the ATS, which is, I think, Association of Theological Schools. So we've set ourselves a very high standard. Our students are required to have a BA, but a lot of people who apply even have PhDs in other fields, which is really awesome. I'm really humbled by the caliber of people, both teachers and students, who are attracted to what we are trying to offer. And so we're trying to really keep a high standard and set, put something out that we can all be proud of. And I'm pretty proud so far of what we've done.
That's very remarkable. If people would like to learn more about Cherry Hill, where would you send them? www.cherryhillseminary.org. There's lots of information there, including an outline of all the 5 programs that I talked about, and the 6, including the PSEL. There was something else I was going to say about it. It's very satisfying. I find it very satisfying, and I find that the people I have worked with over the years although we are all very strong personalities and have certainly run across things where we're not in agreement, we have been able to keep the ultimate mission foremost in our considerations and work through the smaller interpersonal things, and that's very much a sign of the maturing of our movement. And so I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot of people involved in the interfaith movement. One of the people at the Parliament is an employee of the Parliament of World Religions, who used to be employed by the Harvard Religious Pluralism Project, is one of our teachers of Intro to Interfaith, for instance. So they're practitioners of what they're teaching. That's wonderful.
For the most part, yeah.
If people would like to find out more about you, where would they go?
Well, you can go to www.machanightmare.com. That's MACHANIGHTMARE. And I'm also on Facebook. You can find me with my mundane name, actually. But you'll find me. They wouldn't let me change it when I was already registered, so I managed to get Macha in for the middle name. But my calendar is always updated. There's not a ton of stuff on my website at the moment. There is an extensive resume, but where I'm going to be when, in what part of the country, is always on there. Next, at PantheaCon here now. We just had our not our second, I don't remember what the number is, but we had our annual winter intensive for Cherry Hill Seminary the day before PantheaCon. Glenn Turner, who runs PantheaCon, has been kind enough to give us a room to gather in the day before. And we'll be doing a summer intensive in Western Massachusetts in June. I'm not sure the date, but you can find it on the website. And I will be in a gathering called Convocation in Detroit area next weekend.
Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this interview and that it gave you an insight into the workings of Cherry Hill Seminary. Please join us again next time for Living the Wiccan Life, and until then, may you blessed be.
Aww. Hey. Aha.
This October, the world of pagan voices comes together in one global gathering, the Pagan World Congress. 5 days, over 100 hours, speakers, rituals, music, and town halls streamed across the world. Join the conversation, shape the future, be part of history. The Pagan World Congress, October 9th through 13th, 2025. Online at paganworld.co.